scruff. Mustache, beard, scruff, or nothing.
Then explain my tweet that I just drafted that says goatees are
Okay,
cool.
your tweets suck. All of them.
Big time villain vibes. Dude, my tweets have been popping off. I'm going off again today.
Your tweets suck, bro.
Welcome back to the Stage 2 Knicks podcast, guys, with your host, Travis Sacker, joined again by Mike Kelly.
Yeah.
And, of course, P. Klein.
What's up?
All right. And your host has a new Spalding New York Knicks basketball who got shots up today because he was so pumped after watching Immanuel Quickley have helped the Knicks come back from 15 down the second half and beat the Atlanta Hawks to go to 4-3 on the season. And I'm not sure. I think 4-3 is an above 500 record. What do you guys think?
It is certainly above 500, and I want to say, oh shit, what's that other team in New York?
Oh,
There's only one New York. There's
they
only
play
one New
in
York
one of-
basketball
I
they
team.
think you're
play in one
thinking
of
of
the
the New
boroughs.
Jersey Nets, dude.
Yeah,
No, they don't play in New York. There's only one New York team, and that is your New York Knicks, who took down the Atlanta Hawks last night, 113, won away down the road. A few key players in last night's game was Julius Randle with a 28-point, 17 rebound, 9 assist showing. RJ Barrett, one short of his career high, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And, of course, Immanuel Quickley, in 19 short minutes of action last night, he had 16 points, 2 rebounds and assists to steal, plus 17. Most importantly, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. And his free throws cemented this win for the Knicks, who are now a plus 500 basketball team. So we have a few things to talk about with you guys today. The first thing I want to talk about is our New York Knicks are now getting positive feedback from national media members. We are no longer in the basements preaching about this team being good in the future. Now other people are noticing it. And Stephen A. Smith is proud to call himself a Knicks fan today. So my point I wanted to talk about today, before we get into the game, because by now everyone's seen the game in box scores. It is really cool to have a team. Oh, we have a visitor. Everyone wave.
Hey, everybody say hi to Deirdre. Deirdre,
Hey, Deirdre.
yay!
Deirdre's in the pod.
Oh, she got a new pillowcase. It's made out of silk. What
Is
is
there
it?
Is there a New York Knicks logo on it?
It's nice. It's supposed to be good on your hair.
It's good for your hair and your
Oh, it's good
skin.
for your hair. What's it called?
Silk.
Right, hold on. I need
No,
to
what's the
take
name of the
notes.
company?
Oh, what's the name of the company? We're gonna shout them out.
It's actually satin, and I don't know.
Oh,
why.
it's
All right,
Oh,
so
you're-
okay. All right, Princess of Persia, get out
No
of
free,
here.
no,
Everyone
no
go
free
to your
promo.
local
They can
Bed
pay
Bath
us for
&
that.
Beyond.
Gag.
Go to the satin pillowcase section. It is great for your hair. Check it out. Heard first here on the Stage 2 Knicks podcast.
Wow, look at that marketing. I want a portion of that.
No,
by the
you
way.
don't.
don't get it. Yeah.
They owe us money now. Here's my opinion.
I'm finishing our opening thesis, and then we'll get into the podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
It is so awesome that our New York Knicks, have players that are proud to wear the orange and blue and call themselves Knicks and bring wins back to us in the New York State area. We have Immanuel Quickley on Twitter retweeting his own nickname Quivers with Austin Rivers. We have Julius Randle sharing all of these things with people shouting him out. RJ Barrett could not probably be happier to be playing well as a Knick. And then the rest of the roster are just hard-fighting dogs. We have players that are not stars. Maybe Randall's playing like one. But these guys are just hard-fighting NBA basketball players who are proud to bring wins back to our amazing fan base. That was my opening statement. I'll let you guys get into discussing the game. So Pete, why don't you run us forward now?
Oh yeah, sure. I just to piggyback off what you said, I am really happy to see a little bit of that New York dog mentality back in MSG, even if no one's there. As far as the media talking heads, they can fuck off. If they were going to relentlessly shit on the Knicks when we were doing poorly and ignore every other team that was doing poorly, they don't get to jump on the bandwagon because we're one game over 500 without getting a little heat from me, at least. As far as the actual game itself went, I think the real story of it is Randall's dominance just continues. Very efficient shooting night, except from three. He struggled from three, but he was bound to fall back down to earth still. Good free throw shooting. 17 rebounds, 9 assists. Like, this dude is he got a steal. Only 2 fouls in 43 minutes. Like, this dude's playing out of his mind. RJ, one of his best games, if not his best game as a Knick, maybe besides like the last one. Shooting well against a team that's not the Pacers. Didn't know that was possible. Again, struggled from 3-point range, but that's going to be part of his game. He's going to struggle from 3-point range.
Finally, we got preseason RJ who feasted in the mid range, which I've been seeing now for the last 7 games. Like, he needs to get back to that side free throw line and hit that nice easy 15-footer.
Yeah,
just to
him getting around when he gets around those picks and finds those 15, 20-footers and just cans them. Like, that should be bread and butter for RJ. And Emmanuel Quigley is unbelievable. He's just unbelievable for a rookie. 3 for 6 or 2 for 3 3-point, 3 for 6 field goals. I'm looking at Austin Rivers. 2 for 3 3-point, 2 for 3 field goals. He only shot 3-pointers. I'm looking at Kevin Knox. Because I knew he shot 2 for 3 on 3-pointers.
We'll talk about Kevin Knox.
Yeah. But 4 for 7 on field goals, 2 for 3 3-point, efficient shooting night, plus 17 in his 19 minutes. Like, Emmanuel Quigley is exactly what this team needed to take that next step. A point guard who could run the offense, who could shoot the three, and who could play solid defense.
For sure.
And with that, Mike, how'd you feel?
Really quick before we started talking about the game, I just wanted to say, Michael Rappaport can go fuck himself and eat shit.
Oh, yeah, fuck that fucking
fuck Michael Rappaport.
Stephen A. Smith can go fuck himself. I love Stephen A's radio show. He's a good radio talent, but talked way too much shit about the Knicks for too long. He can go fuck himself. He doesn't have the right to root for them anymore. Spike Lee.
And I love him, but fuck you.
Yeah. Spike Lee can go fuck himself. Charles Oakley can go fuck himself. Any national media member who was shitting on the Knicks for the last lifetime that wants to now jump on this bandwagon and root for them because they're young and fun and good, even though, everybody was saying that they were rebuilding for years and they were still shitting on them. They can all go fuck themselves too.
Sean Fennessy and John Hollinger, go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourselves, John Hollinger.
Fuck John Hollinger.
So I just wanted to get that out of the way first really quickly. So me and Trav were up early this morning because I had my job and Trav's just an early riser.
I have one too.
Yeah. No, you don't, do you?
No. For those who don't know, I am a seasonal golf instructor, and I work on a basis where I work like a full year of calendar days in a condensed 8 months of time. So then I have like 4 months off.
Trav's job is sick.
I babysit children with golf clubs.
He used to babysit me at our old job.
Oh my god, what a chaotic place though.
Now it's just a leisurely activity.
That ended too early.
All right, back to basketball.
Back to basketball. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, we were talking this morning in our group chat that we have about how Travis was like, RJ Barrett was the MVP of that game last night. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I think Emmanuel Quigley was the MVP of that game last night. And this is kind of an argument that goes across all sports because I've had it with a lot of different people about a lot of different things, mainly football. But my point is best player and MVP are not the same thing. You could be the best player on the court, on the field at any given moment and not be the most valuable player to the team in that specific instance. And last night, Emmanuel Quigley spark off the bench, kicking that team into hyperdrive, getting open looks, and opening up the floor for everybody was the most valuable player on the floor for the minutes that he was on the floor for. And really almost single-handedly spearheaded the comeback win. And damn it, that's the hill that I die on.
So, I am a proud supporter of the Quivers Hive, especially the first part of the name and the second part of Love Lost Remembers. The reason that I think RJ was the MVP of the game was RJ had to play 44 minutes of professional basketball last night. In that time, he had again, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. Sound defense all night. Quickly was the spark that helped us win the game. But everything about this game meant more personally to RJ. He had to go up against his old teammate at Duke, Cam Reddish. DeAndre Hunter, a awesome young wing who I gave a shout out to because he had a great game. Picked 2 spots behind him. He's a couple years older than RJ, so he's a little far along in his development. Who people probably think is better than RJ. And RJ went out there and played about the best I've seen him play as a Knick. Yeah, he missed 4 of his 5 threes, but he made like most of his other shots, played great defense. And RJ is not like he's not like a loud defender. He's more like keeps his guy in front of him and gets a hand up, pretty much always making the guy have to take a tough shot or make a pass. He plays kind of like Joel Revis did, like the guy he's guarding, you don't see him on the court. But I watched him on the defensive end at the end of the game, and 44 minutes on those young 20-year-old legs, he was still fighting hard. I know he didn't really make a big shot at the end of the game. Actually, no, he made the 3 was huge, and he had the N1, like with maybe 5 minutes left. He didn't have necessarily like clutch time shot. Why did Mike leave?
I don't know. He probably just dropped out of the call.
Mike will be back soon. But Mike's back, everybody. Welcome back, Mike.
Lost you.
I saw you. I didn't say anything when you were gone. RJ was the consistent, again, adult on the court for the entirety of the game. They couldn't take him off the court. Like, if Knicks were playing well with RJ off the court, RJ would have been off the court for at least a few more minutes.
Totally get that, but they were losing with him on the court. The reason why they won the game is because of Emmanuel Quickly.
You're right. Make this
real
quick.
They wouldn't
Julius
win
Randle
the game.
Was the MVP of this game.
Well, no, he's actually right.
Best player, like best player and MVP are not.
So
same
Mike's saying
thing.
who you give the game ball to?
Great game.
Yeah,
great game.
So if when we're younger and you play a game of baseball, there's always one kid that's better than everyone else, right? And then this other kid has an astounding game compared to how he usually plays, and that kid gets the game ball. So that's what Mike's saying. The other guy
isn't unusual for IQ at this point. I'm kind
of
no,
it is still
yes,
unusual.
He's never played in 19 minutes. You can't say that.
This is by far his best game of his. We saw
last night was RJ's best game of his career.
Last night,
yes,
period.
And IQ.
Best game of his career.
Against Houston last year,
he didn't have as good of a game.
This was a better game.
He didn't. I looked at every
game winner, dude. Game winner means a lot.
He did, but in the 20 minutes for that game winner, he scored 2 points. He scored a bunch of points in the first quarter, and then he didn't do much for most of the game.
I went through and I looked at all of his box scores from every game from last year and this year so far.
I did that the other day.
This is pretty by a pretty good margin the best game of his career. One of the best games for Julius Randle's career.
Amazing.
They were 1A, 1B in best player of that game last night. Emmanuel Quickly is the reason why they won. Yes. They were both on the floor for 40 some odd minutes apiece. They were losing with both of them on the floor. Emmanuel Quickly's 19 minutes on the court. They were down 13. By the time he was off the court, they were winning by 6.
Yeah, he plus 17.
Right.
Actually, just wild.
So
I see where you're coming from. He came in and he changed the game completely.
Right. But that doesn't make him the best player.
We are literally arguing which awesome Knick game had a better game. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's just
fuck it, Austin
Kevin
Rivers.
Knox. Kevin Knox's 3-point buzzer beater had me jumping.
Kevin Knox was the 8th best Knick that played last night for sure. Yeah.
Kevin Knox might have hit the most important shot of that game last night at the end of the third quarter.
I'd say
possibly true.
Both of those threes were huge.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Very timely.
I watched his replays and he played pretty good defense after 1 lapse.
He did. He played good defense. He had 1 bad defensive lapse and he had that. The kid has to stop fouling on threes. He does it more than any other player in the league.
So aloof to aloof's not the right word. He's so
aloof might be the right word.
Aloof to how to use his body still.
Yeah.
He's not aware of what parts of his body move at certain points and speeds.
Yeah, this whole I don't know, the hypocrisy of not wanting to stay patient on Kevin Knox and preaching patience for Frank Ntilikina's 20th season in the NBA is it's not fair.
I agree.
It's not fair. Kevin Knox is 21 years old.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows that the kid's a project. You know, if he can get a little bit better at something, like I said, it doesn't have to be a leap. It just has to be a step. You know?
Yeah,
And we're seeing that he can hit open jump shots. I think, the last game we mentioned his hand was hurt, and I really think that's why his jump shot looked so bad.
Yeah.
He was off. He went 2 for 3, and he was +4.
And he looks happier on the court.
I don't get any rebound or assists.
He looks happier on the court when he plays with Quickly. Like, Kevin Knox looks like his brother just came home when Quickly steps on the court.
I saw a tweet that said that Emmanuel Quickly turns Kevin Knox into Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Nick's Twitter was
so
just
funny.
on another level last night.
On another level.
Dude,
So I don't know if you guys watched Macri's post-game emergency pod last night.
No, I didn't get it.
We all know I love Knicks Film School. But that was the most honest, genuine, pure emotion just being expressed out of a Knicks fan who's watched 20 years of pure shit and nonsense, watching something that's not only exciting, but you can see the future because it's built by players born into the NBA as Knicks players and a couple crafty vets. It's not like Derrick Rose and Melo ISO'd their way to a win. This was team ball, so much fun. They have 18 million open cap space, beating a team that just signed 3 of the largest contracts in the offseason. Knicks didn't do anything special this offseason except draft Emmanuel Quickly 25th overall somehow. And they just trounced a team that has a top 5 scorer in the NBA. I know they won by a few points, but that fourth quarter was Knicks basketball, they dominated that fourth quarter. I love seeing this joy from the Knicks fans. I don't remember the last time I walked out into town and saw a guy wearing a Knicks sweatshirt and being great game last night. I did that today. That happened today. Today I did that. It was amazing.
Today that happened.
When I wear my Knicks sweatshirt at work, all of the other teachers say, it's rough, huh?
Yeah, right.
Tough life, huh?
That's always been the reaction I get when I wear Knicks gear.
We have the privilege of discussing which Knick we liked more last night, and they won the game. This isn't March of 2019 and Kevin Knox went 3 of 17, but we saw signs. This is Quickly doesn't miss the hoop. You know what I mean? Randall doesn't take a possession off, and RJ is just professional on every play, and Mitch just doesn't let a ball get in that hoop with 3 minutes left in the game. Mitch does not let anyone score in crunch time.
Yeah.
We didn't even got to Mitch yet, but I'm just so happy to be a Knicks fan.
I just wanted to point out. I just wanted to point out when you said about the Hawks signing those big contracts in the offseason. The Knicks aren't doing this against poor competition. They've had one of the hardest schedules in the league so far.
I think it's actually the hardest.
Blew out the Bucks, went 1-1 with the Pacers, lost. The only loss in their last 5 games came from they lost to the Sixers. The only loss in their last game from an anomalous shooting night. Yeah, 0-21 from 3 that just doesn't happen. And when it does happen, you just take an L. 3 for 36. 0 for their first 21.
They went 3 for 36. If they would have shot 9 for 36, and that's a 25% clip, they would have won that game.
Yeah.
So you take that L. You eat that, whatever.
Yeah, it's just this was a terrible night for us, and we move on to the next one. But yeah, Knicks, an impressive 4-3 against tough competition. I'm really happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can put my hand down now. Cool.
Casey texted me last night. I texted her. I was like, "Oh my god, the Knicks won again," and she was like, "Wow, I'm so happy for you," because she knows how much.
That's what Julie said.
she knows how much we love the Knicks, and she was like, "Is it more fun doing the podcast when they're good?" And I was like, honestly, it's kind of harder to talk about it when they're good. It's easier to pick things apart that we don't like.
I don't need to talk about Knicks. I just want to talk about how happy I'm gonna be Knicks fan. I don't need to talk about Rockstar. While you did mention Casey, we are going to shout out the Station Knicks podcast, Sniffing Others. So shout out to my girlfriend, Julie DeCourcy. Hey, babe, you guys can go now.
Hi, Mia.
Casey doesn't listen to the podcast. So.
And
Hi, Casey, I love you.
behind the scenes work to keep us sane while the Knicks are finally letting us be sane. So all those years that I had to get through the seasons, and Julie was right there with me, not watching, but saying, I love you.
Yep.
Thank you, babe.
There's been a lot of times where the Knicks have lost, and I've been really dejected about it, and Casey has just held me while, I think about the game, and I bitch about the Knicks, and she says, oh, man, that sucks. Yeah, they suck. And it helps.
Mia likes the Nuggets.
Oh, yeah, we saw the Nuggets when we saw the Hawks last year.
Yeah, that was fun. She likes the Nuggets. She started liking them because they have a funny name.
Because Nikola Jokic.
And then she likes Jamal Murray. Because he's cute. And
he's a good-looking dude.
So is the Joker.
Yeah, dude. He just totally doesn't look like a
You know who's the
Didn't
good-looking?
Jamal Murray have a thing last year?
His girlfriend
some sort of
had
thing.
he accidentally Instagram lived a video of his girlfriend going down on him.
Performing fellatio services.
Yeah,
right?
which is
It was an educational video.
Swing and a miss by Jamal Murray.
It was health class.
He was. They ended up breaking up, but I think he was pretty cordial about it. And he was like, "Please stop giving my girlfriend hate." I don't know. He strikes me as a cool guy. I like the Nuggets.
His Denver Nuggets were in the video.
There's so many of those videos, though. There's a lot of those types of videos. Where do you find this one? How would one go about finding this particular video? There are so many of them.
I don't know. Do you know who's a really good?
Oh, is this a Sunny reference? Which
Wait, what
one?
happened?
There are so many. Which one?
You know who's a really good-looking dude? Jalen
Frank?
Hurts.
You.
Thanks.
That's your
Jalen
type?
Hurts is a stud on the sideline.
I don't want to talk about the Eagles.
All right, you're an Eagles fan.
No, I'm a Giants fan.
Oh,
I'm
you're a
never-
Giants fan. That's right. That's why you like.
Oh, I almost threw up. I do not want to talk about the Eagles. They screwed me. Knicks.
The Knicks have more wins on the season than the Jets did. I'm a Jets fan. All right, back to basketball. All right, so we're gonna move into the segment of the show where we're each gonna choose a play that we want to reference from last night. And I'm gonna reference the late in the fourth quarter where Trae Young blew by Emmanuel quickly, and then quickly just tucked his arm underneath Trae and popped the ball out of there. When I watched that live, I just saw the ball appear, and I was like, "What happened? How did he do that?" It didn't you didn't even see him go for the steal, and all of a sudden he had the ball. That was awesome. It's amazing. The last two wins, they've had amazing steals in the end of the fourth quarter. Randall and Mitch at the end of the Pacers game now quickly. So that's
they had another steal at the end of the game last night too that they didn't convert points off of.
Yes, they did. I forgot the exact sequence, but
it was Rivers.
Right,
Rivers stole the ball. Yeah,
Their hands are very active on defense.
that's
especially in the fourth quarter. I've noticed.
Yeah.
They play the system, and then it's in the end of the game, it's like Tibbs gives them a little freedom to make a play. That Mitch block. Early in the game, maybe Mitch doesn't close out, but it seems like in the end of the fourth quarter, Tibbs is make a game-winning play on defense. Maybe I could be wrong, but I hope
defense
so.
down the stretch wins tight games.
Yeah. So that was my play of the game. Mike, do you have one?
I'm gonna let Pete go first because I think I'm gonna be I'm gonna be
Okay.
off the beat.
Yeah, I have one. At 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Emmanuel Quickly's got the ball at the top of the key, and Julius Randle sets a screen on Trae Young. And Emmanuel Quickly doesn't take it, and instead elects to kind of go around to Trae's left, and then he gives the ball to Julius at the top of the key and looks right at Rivers and says directs him on the floor. And to me, a rookie just directing traffic like that was I was so impressed. And it just ends up in a Julius Randle mid-range jumper that goes in. But just that small bit of he literally looks at Rivers. It's you and me. I'm gonna cut, and you gotta take where I am. And I was just so impressed by his ability to see what he has to do and what his teammates have to do, and then tell them to do it as in his third NBA game or his second NBA game. third, second. He played
Third.
This is his third.
third NBA.
He got hurt in the first Pacers.
Yeah, he got
played
first,
in the second
and then
Pacers.
he played in the second. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just unbelievable. Kind of just if he can become that floor general so early in his career, I would be very impressed. That was my favorite play.
Nice.
This isn't my favorite play, but it was the play that made me think probably the most. Julius Randle had the ball at the top of the arc, and he tried to throw like a little inside, and they weren't on the same.
Mike, you're
that pass.
breaking.
Nope.
Wait, let it catch up. Not yet. Okay.
How do you make that noise?
Was my tongue.
Was that your
Right.
favorite play, that noise?
Yes.
That's what
Can you-
quickly did when he got that steal. All right, you're back now.
Okay. Julius Randle had the ball at the top of the arc, and him and Quickly kind of like made like eye contact, and he thought he was going to cut to the basket. So Randle tried to throw like a cheeky little bounce pass to a cutting Quickly for it probably would have ended up being an easy layup, but like out of that pass, you could either kick out for a three or you could just elect to do the easy two. And that pass just made me think of like Elfrid Payton's starting job is probably like on borrowed time at this point, because the more Quickly plays in more meaningful minutes and the better they look with him on the floor. Tom Thibodeau's the kind of coach, like he's not going to just stick with Payton for the sake of sticking with Payton. He's going to do whatever helps the team win. And that play just made me think like, well, first Randall called him quickly over after that play to like talk about like what he saw, and watching them like hash it out together was really cool. But like it got me like really thinking about Quickly in the starting lineup actually, getting practice time with the starters and not just coming off the bench, and like what this team can really look like with a real slashing, shooting, defensive playing point guard that they haven't had in a really long time. I can't even tell you who the last point guard.
Well, there was
They haven't
of Jason
drafted a
Kidd.
point guard like this. He wasn't
No.
even. He was a shooting
And then-
guard that year.
Jason
And
Kidd was
then
ancient by the time he
even
came.
Yeah, and then even
Shelton's
before that,
first.
Shelton, Chauncey Billups that one year.
Jesus Christ.
Chris Duhon,
Aaron Davis, get out of here.
Baron Davis, Jared Jeffries.
I honestly, there was a point in time where I thought Tony
Jared
Douglas
Jack, I mean.
was gonna be that guy. Mike, I'm gonna ask you to pop out of the call and get back in because you're just like super behind. See if it works. Don't wait. Now we're gonna like start a new call. Now I'm back. He heard me.
But in any event,
Talking shit about me.
I said it last pod, and I'll say it again. That Quivers backcourt should be starting.
So can
Yeah, I just wanted to finish that. I don't know if you heard it. That play excited me just because I got the idea of Quickly getting first team reps in my head. I don't know if you guys heard that part because I was choppy.
I did.
Okay.
So I have my thought on the starting lineup situation. So I don't think we're going to see a change until there's a Knicks loss, at least. Like if they keep winning, he's not going to change it. The thing that's got to be funky, and we'll talk about things we don't like after. It's one thing if a guy like Reggie Bullock starts and then a Berkshire Rivers finishes the game because they're a similar player, but Bullock is like an older veteran filling in on defense and open shots, but he's not like a creator. That's normal and fine. There are no teams in the NBA that start one point guard and finish a game with another point guard. That doesn't happen because the point guard runs the offense, excluding what Randall does. So it's got to be this awkward dynamic, as well as they're good friends with Payton playing, the Knicks clearly lacking Quickly's talents, and then Quickly goes in to fix it. I don't think that's going to last very long. So I'm interested to see when that change comes, because how many more games can you let your point guard be taken off the court, Like, that's not good for your team. Especially when, like, last night in the third quarter when Payton just, like, was relentless in trying to get layups, and he couldn't score.
Well, he's not being taken off the court. He's playing himself off the court, which is even
Right.
worse.
So if
I don't
like
think he's been playing terrible basketball for the last couple.
no, but when
Did you watch the second half of that game last night?
Yes, I did, and
That
it
was
wasn't
terrible
It wasn't
basketball.
that was
pretty.
bad.
It wasn't pretty, but like just in general,
Well,
No, that
it's-
was some of
he's
the
been
worst
fine.
point guard
That
play
was
I've
a
seen this
really
season.
bad stretch, but I don't think he should be starting. I
Peyton
think he
does
still serves
one.
a role.
Peyton does one thing well. Peyton can get to the rim. But when that's not working, he's rendered useless. He doesn't kick, you know what I mean? He can't shoot.
Yeah.
He can't do anything of the ball. And Quickly can. I love Quickly. I think he's a long way to go for he's a legitimate starting point guard, obviously. But
What makes you say that?
Yeah, other than him being a rookie.
Other than him being a 21-year-old rookie, what makes you say he's got a long way to go?
I'm saying more until like we talk about him being like a star. Like
You
agree
said
with that.
legitimate starting point
if
guard
he
though.
started and he played like he did last night on extended minutes, right? Like so you give a little more because he's gonna play a little more. He'd be like
Game.
in the bottom third of NBA starting point guards because there's a lot of great NBA starting point guards, which is not a knock. It's a compliment to the league on having good guard talents. With that said, I lost my train of thought. Oh, no. What was I saying? Oh, right. This was the saying. Okay. So I think if the Knicks changed up the lineup, you bring the Rivers Quivers, Quick River backcourt to your starting lineup, and then you put Burks on the backcourt in the secondary because Burks is probably the best ball in his hand, get a bucket guy in the team, give or take. So he can kind of get away with playing with Peyton. I think Rivers kind of works well with ball movement. So I think those two would work well as starting unit. And then even if like Burks is out playing Rivers, Burks can finish a game. That's no problem. They're like chain back and like they're both dynamic players. Opposed when you start Peyton and then he doesn't finish the game because the rookie is better. That's just not good for the team. Over time. It's one thing like here and there, but not over time. You can't do that every game. You can't start a guy that clearly shouldn't be starting to play the kid that's better every game. It's one thing if it's Mitchell Robinson when he's a center in his second year. You can't do it with your point guard. You can't do that. So I'm interested to see how it goes.
Agree, and I just wanted to point out that we've mentioned a few times that Tibbs isn't really a 5-in, 5-out kind of guy.
Yeah.
So it's not like we need to like make the starting lineup with the thoughts that like, oh, we also need like a bench 5 that works well together, because we really don't, because Tibbs will rotate guys in and out and just do rotations based on who he thinks needs to be in the game at that particular moment instead of just subbing in the whole bench 5.
Sure.
So, but having that starting lineup that works really well is good because he loves to just play them for the almost, if not the whole first quarter. And then hopefully like a good chunk of the fourth quarter if we go to that quickly starting lineup. Because I think that it's mostly, to me, I mean, like, I think RJ and Julius and Mitch can function in most lineups because Mitch is just really versatile and RJ and Randall can kind of create for themselves in a way. But I think in a way, Quickly and Rivers function super well together. And they make those other 3 guys better just because they can both shoot. And they're both shooting lights out right now.
And right. And I think there's something to keep Burks. I really think Burks is the second best basketball player in this basketball team. I know I'm.
Yeah, me too. But Burks. I think him on the bench is good.
I think that's a great place for him because he doesn't need. Again, Mitch and RJ are going to play 38 minutes a game regardless for the most part. But Burks can come in that like 4-minute mark, and for the next 4 minutes, he can just shoot, you know, and not have to worry. And that's like the best thing for the team. Opposed, I can see now if he starts with Quickly and RJ and Randall, there's now 4 guys that like need the ball. Not that need the ball, but if I can see how you're really spacing out talent well if they did that, which is gonna be cool to see.
That's like a real NBA starting lineup, though.
Yeah.
That's like when you have like bench depth and like those are your 5 best players that you put on the floor for 38 minutes for the game to give yourself the best chance of winning. And that's what good basketball teams do. We're a little young for that yet. So, you know, that's
one step at a time.
We're still in a rebuild. Like we're, you know, super bullish on the Knicks right now because they're 4-3 and they are beating good teams. But like it's still a rebuild. Keep that in mind.
Definitely.
You know, there's reasons why Dennis Smith Jr. still has a roster spot on this team, you know. Yeah, I know.
It's just like it's just not. There's no more time for letting Dennis Smith Jr. figure it out anymore. Like I think straight up trade him from Malik Monk, who's not in the rotation. Even if we give them a second round pick, at least Malik Monk just can shoot and score. Like there's no time to give Dennis Smith Jr. the ball to figure out how to run offense anymore.
That's
like we're
hard
past.
agree for me.
I'm not saying we can't be patient, but
no, I mean
like
be patient, like where it's due though too,
Yeah.
because like Dennis Smith Jr. hasn't shown us anything.
right, like I'm totally fine, like you said, Knox working through his defensive mistakes because he can still be a guy that moves the ball and shoots. But Dennis Smith Jr. can only do something if he has the ball in his hand, unless he has these like freak defensive games where he had in preseason. Like I have no time to sit quickly for Dennis Smith Jr. to get 10 minutes of running offense. Like that's over. He had 3 years here. That's done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like if he figures it out, great. And I'll root for him because I root for every Knick. I've never rooted against a Knick to do well, but I am not going to take away from guys that are earning it more when there are other guys who are playing better, younger, and just care more. It seems like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if somebody misses time because of like COVID protocol or what have you, and DSJ finds himself on the floor, obviously I'm going to root for DSJ. But like I don't want to see him anymore. Frankly, I don't give a shit. It's been how many years in the league, and he can only do one thing,
4.
and he doesn't even do it as well as he used to. So like whatever.
Right. Like at least Frank has gotten better in the things he does well.
Yeah.
Like, and Friend doesn't need. Oh God, I want to see Friend play quickly so badly, guys. You have no idea.
I have some idea because
I want that 4-guard unit on the court so badly with Mitch. Like, I think that's gonna be the most fun thing I've ever seen. Like, even though I love RJ doesn't like. Doesn't like excite when he plays. He just plays well, which is a good thing.
He's got a very slow and controlled.
Yeah, he plays like Paul Pierce.
Although when he grabbed that loose ball and fucking yammed it, I was hype,
cool.
and he was hype. That was fun.
He had like 4 dunks last night, 3 or 4 dunks.
He played really well.
I really like when he gets aggressive and just dunks it because you can't miss when you're dunking.
Yeah.
No, you can miss.
You can if you're John Collins, but it's less likely, and I think that he has like that. He's kind of sneaky athletic in a way because he moves so slow, but he can get up.
He can get up quickly,
and
he doesn't shift very fast.
And
that's
he's
more
so
like
strong.
He's not
so
shifty.
He can finish through. He's not very shifty at all. No,
he's a very north and south basketball player.
When he just bullied Trey away from him and finished that with his right hand. God, there was a lot of good RJ moments last night.
Talking about DSJ, I'm going to quickly go over the injury report released today. So for tomorrow's game against the Jazz, Knox is probable. Smith and Spellman were upgraded to probable.
Hand is the thing?
It's a sore left knee.
Okay.
He's had that for 3 games now.
Okay.
Yeah, he banged knees.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He'll play.
Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel are questionable. Frank and Toppin are out. So Nerlens Noel
gone.
So hold on. So Nerlens Noel didn't play, and they hadn't released until like late in the second quarter that he had a sprained ankle he got in warm-ups. And then there was this report by an account saying that like one of the reasons why he fired his agent was he didn't want to go to New York and like be in a backup role, and he doesn't see eye to eye with Tibbs. And then most people are like, I don't believe this. He twisted ankle. Like I haven't heard anything about this. I could see that he didn't want to be a backup. I don't know if he cared about being in New York because he has like Kenny Payne and the guys here. But I can tell that he doesn't want to go in for 5 minutes and come off the court already. Not saying he's earned more time. But I don't think this Noel signing is going to live up to what maybe we thought it was going to be in the offseason, unless he really embraces his role. So we'll see how that goes.
Noel's play hasn't lived up to the Noel signing this offseason. He fucking stinks.
For sure.
He's terrible.
He was good in the first preseason game.
Yeah, good for him. Since then, he's been god awful. He has the ball in an NBA basketball game, and he does not know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea if he wants. Well, he knows he doesn't want to shoot it, and he knows that he's got to pass it to somebody, but he doesn't know who
he can't put it on. He can't put it on the floor.
Like he can't do anything well besides protect the rim.
And I mean, like he's not even been that strong on defense. He's been moderate. He looks small. He looks like a small 6'11". Like
he's very small for his size. He's smaller than Kevin Knox. I mean, Kevin Knox is wider than.
He's just, you take shots at these cheap contracts, and he was a miss. He was a
I mean,
miss.
it's not going to hurt him, and I think when he plays, he doesn't take much
Try to
off
swing.
the table.
Yeah, I'm honestly like, I think just don't play him. Whatever, try to swing him for like a late.
Which makes me think that when Obi is back, Obi is going to be playing 5 minutes because I don't think you can have Knox, Obi, Noel, Mitch, and Randall all in the rotation. What about
Randall? Well, what if Randall got some 5 minutes?
Well, he will, but if I'm saying when Randall and Mitch are off the court. So when we talked last time about rotations, I'm sensing Obi is gonna play because you have to play Obi Toppin. You can't sit him for Nerlens Noel. Knox is gonna play if he hits threes, right? We said it. You if you can shoot, you're gonna play. I think we're gonna see Toppin at 5 minutes. Now Toppin Knox a 4-5 unit absolutely terrifies me. But maybe the way Tibbs does this subs, maybe like Mitch comes out like midway through the first quarter and then comes back in the start of the second quarter. So then Toppin plays with Randall or Mitch always, or
that makes sense. Yeah, because that's right when Mitch would have 3 fouls anyway.
Right. Yeah. You kind of mitigate that foul trouble. Yeah. No, that's really smart actually doing that.
I sense that's going to be something. And if that happens, I'm pretty pumped I called it. Because our rotation's set now with our lineup. But again, assuming everyone's healthy, our rotation's going to look much different. I could see that for sure.
Really want to see
the big question mark he's not himself a question mark, but how the return of Burks and having him end quickly will shake things up. Like, because there's now an extra guy who you absolutely must play.
So the first thing that's going to happen is Bullock's going to play less minutes. And RJ is going to fall underneath the 40-minute mark because
probably good as well.
One of the reasons why RJ is playing so many minutes is
no Burks.
Bullock can't create at all for himself. So you really miss creation when RJ's off the court right now because Rivers is okay. He's good at it. Not the best, but Burks can like legitimately do that. I mean, I don't think he's going to hit 70% of his shots when he comes back. I hope he still plays like if he. It is imperative for this team that Burks has like top of the line shooting numbers. Like that is the most important thing going forward to come back to this team if they really see a future getting to that P word at the end of the season. So Bullock's going to sit back on minutes. RJ is going to sit back on minutes. Payton's going to sit back on minutes a lot. Because you don't necessarily, you don't always, like, you can get away with 3-4 minutes of Burks, RJ, and Rivers in at the same time. That's enough creation. That's my guess. I'm guessing Knox's minutes are going to fall unless he keeps hitting shots. I expect Burks to get around 30 minutes. Maybe Rivers is a few less because I think Burks is the better player. But we'll see. I mean, the first substitution in the game Burks is back in is going to tell us a lot about what they think about the team, I think, if that makes sense. Whenever Burks gets into the game, that shows you how much he's important to this team in practice. If he gets in with like 6 minutes left in the first quarter, which the Knicks have not done much this year, like you'll know. So we'll see. I love Burks. God, I hope he just shoots 70% from three for the whole year.
I need him. I need him to, if he plays well, I need him to sign like one of those Austin Rivers type contracts.
No, he's gonna.
You think he's looking for the bag?
Yeah, 6 years, $6 million.
So, like, if he played decent and the Knicks offered him 3 years, $30 million, like, I don't know what team tops that. And the Knicks, this is the time for Knicks to give longer deals to these guys. While RJ, Mitch, Toppin, Quickly are all on their rookie contracts. You sign a
good players for a long
good
time,
player for extra years, and like no other team is gonna give him that contract. I would, if the Knicks signed him for 3 years, $30 million. I would like call James Dolan.
Dude, Austin Rivers is signed for 3 years, $9 million.
I know it's ridiculous, but both of those guys are gonna get new contracts after this year.
You think?
Yeah, I see like a Rivers does I'll stay if you give me a new contract thing, which they should do. I mean,
maybe
we're a long way away.
Yeah.
True.
We don't even know if they're going to get traded at the trade deadline.
Oh, I hope not. If the team performs like this, then just keep it together.
I'll tell you this right now: if Randall plays any version of this, I'm not trading him unless they get an all-star.
If they traded him while he was doing this, I'd be fucking pissed.
His contract right now is a steal, and they're definitely going to opt into his option next year.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. That team option was actually so big brain. Now that I'm looking at it.
Dude, the Knicks got clowned for their free agency last year, but they made such smart decisions. Yeah, they signed
everyone who sucked is now gone, and Julius Randle's playing can also.
Yeah, I mean, I can rank. I mean, the Morris, the Randle, the Bullock contracts were good. The Portis one was bad, but again, they're team options. Taj is overpaid, but you needed a guy like Taj in your team because they had no veteran leadership, and the Ellington contract sucked.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're gone. Like there is no bad contract on this team. Yeah. There literally is not a contract on this team that does not need to be there, except for maybe DSJ's contract. But Mike's gone. Should we just cry until Mike's back?
I was gonna say. I mean, they're still paying Joakim Noah.
Oh right, the worst contract on the team is Joakim Noah.
It's so funny, dude. Thanks, Phil.
I think next year they still have to pay him too, which sucks.
They do. They have one more year of that contract left.
But there's no maxed out player they have to sign this summer anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Which before we get it, I have one thing about future assets, and then we'll get into the next game because we get to talk about basketball games that matter.
Yeah, oh my God, we could do like, are we gonna win or are we gonna lose, and it matters.
The Knicks own the 2021 second-round picks for the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards. The Detroit Pistons are 1-6, not Washington Wizards, sorry, Charlotte Hornets. Detroit Pistons are 1-6, and the Charlotte Hornets are 2-5. Right now, the Knicks are going to have like two of the top best picks in the second round this year. So the Knicks own their own pick. The Mavs pick, who are currently not in... Oh, they are 8th. But regardless, they're not going to... The NBA non-lottery picks are decided by record, and there's no way in hell they're going to have a better record than the top 4 teams in the East and the West, which means the Knicks are going to basically have, at worst, a pick right around 20, besides their own pick, which is good. And then they'll have 2 picks pretty much in the low to mid-30s. So the Knicks are going to have 4 picks in this draft. They're not rostering 4 rookies. That's impossible. You can't do it. They'll probably take 2, which lets us know they're going to do 1, 2, or both. Trade for a player or trade the picks for future picks. So the Knicks will be active in trades sometime before the draft because they have to. You can't draft 4 players, which is exciting and interesting to see what they do. If they use it for a player, or do you trade for future picks when the time comes to make a trade for a player? And I think
in your mind is like a potential
swing at. I will always say that Victor Oladipo, if the Pacers are not playing their best and he's not, will be on the table. I think Zach LaVine is always on the table. I think Marvin Bagley's on the table, but I don't know Marvin Bagley.
Is it a guard that you want to be after? I don't want Marvin Bagley.
I think Lonzo Ball is on the table.
Lonzo is who I was gonna say. Although a wing who can defend and can put the ball on the floor and make some plays.
Or
that's really what I'm looking
trade for. RJ, Randall.
No.
The 3 picks for James Harden.
Harden.
No. No, dude, no.
You don't want that to happen.
I don't want it to happen, but like it would be fun. I'd be sad, but it
I don't think that would be fun.
Harden won't. What is Harden going to come here and win the finals? Like it's not going to happen.
It's a package. It's a thing that the Rockets would have to say, I don't think the Knicks would do it because they're like, this is what I'll say about
Harden
now.
and Tibbs.
I don't see
it.
The Knicks front office is going to make a trade that has so much levels of fucking against their franchise, you know? like the franchise is going to be happy for a lot of this season. I don't think they're going to want to do something to really
shake things up,
upset the franchise, if that makes sense. Yeah, but other players, maybe, again, you have 2 top second-round picks, 2 first-round picks, and all your picks in the future. So you can trade those 3 picks, keep your own, and another pick in the future. And you can get, like, Ja Morant, is he available? Just kidding.
Fucking way. I think Lonzo's a good choice, though.
I don't think Lonzo is worth anything more than DSJ and the second map in the Mavs pick. Like, I don't, like, he's going to be a restricted free agent. If the Pelicans are gonna keep him, great. But they could also wait till the postseason and then just do a sign-in trade to make sure he comes to the Knicks and give up one of your picks. Like you don't have to.
I'm not huge on Lonzo Ball to begin with.
I don't know if Lonzo Ball is going to.
Why are you not big on Lonzo?
Because he's like average at best.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
he's like
defender.
The poorest man Rajon Rondo.
He's a good defender. He's an improved 3-point shooter, and he's a really good playmaker.
You just explained Frank Ntilikina and Austin Rivers.
He's so much better than Frank Ntilikina.
No, but think about it. If Frank Ntilikina played the amount of minutes and leash that Lonzo has had in his career, you don't expect he would average 5 more points, 3 more assists, and 4 more rebounds.
Yeah, I think people are like crazy high on Lonzo. Like,
yeah. I'm not crazy high on Lonzo. I think he would be a good fit. I think he fits onto a lot of teams.
He fits onto every team because he's a good basketball player, but like he doesn't do anything that takes his team to the next level.
Oh well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you wouldn't trade like fences in free agency or with trades. I think if anything,
at this point, if you're going to make a trade, you're going to do something that's going to like bolster your roster to put yourself in a position to make like a playoff run. I think we should trade for
more future assets and just go the Boston route and just have that massive war chest. So that when the right opportunity.
Yeah, but that Boston route came to be because of that fucking Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce trade.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we kind of already have a foundation to do something like that.
Hold on, so Lonzo Ball is averaging 13. Lonzo Ball's averaging 13 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists in 33 minutes. He's basically averaging worse numbers than RJ. They play an incredibly similar game, except one shoots and one drives. And Lonzo's PER is 11.96, which is terrible. And RJ doesn't have a good PER. So now you're going to have 2 guys that have a rough PER who are not good shooters playing it with each. Like, it just doesn't.
I don't want Lonzo Ball.
Like, it'd be one thing if
I'm not like.
It'd be one thing if the Knicks signed him for like a 4.
That would be in their realistic range of what they can trade for.
So I
know. I'm just saying if they traded for Lonzo, I'd be upset.
If they did like DSJ and the Mavs pick for Lonzo, I'd be like, I get that.
And then you swing Lonzo again.
Right, because I think the Pelicans want picks because they are a team that would like trade for like a James Harden or
I mean, they have Zion, they have Ingram, and now they need a third player to put with those 2 guys.
There's no way Zion wants to stay in New Orleans. There is no way he wants to stay in that team.
Well, he wants to be in New York with RJ. Everybody knows.
Yeah, like why don't they just trade DSJ and like a 2nd-round pick for Zion? It makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, the 2032 2nd-round pick.
Honestly, though, like I like Zion. I don't think like
is Zion what he was hyped up to be.
I think he's a really good player. I don't think
he's second season.
It's the second season.
I know,
but he was hurt for almost the entire first season.
Yeah, look at Ja, dude.
Ja is the best player in that draft. Ja is something.
Yeah.
Look at Ja. He's fucking incredible.
I love Ja.
He's so fun to watch.
He's such a good kid.
But
and I feel happy for the Grizzlies to have gotten him.
Ja being that good doesn't take away from Zion though. That's just 2 generational talents back to back.
And Ja gets to play with the ball in his hand. Zion's relying on his offensive system to get him in good places.
Right.
Which is why Anthony Davis couldn't do much with his team. He didn't have a point guard or LeBron James, you know?
Yeah, perhaps they're making the same mistake with Zion as they did with AD, which is they traded Drew Holiday. Why?
Yeah.
They got like 3 first-round picks.
They better draft a guard and a good one.
Yeah.
Well, they have Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo.
I said good one.
I'm telling you, Harden. Oh, that's the thing though. They don't have players that have big contracts right now to absorb Harden's contract, so they'd have to trade Steven Adams if they got. I could see them trying to trade for James Harden. I don't know who the Knicks would trade for. I mean, let's say
I'm trying to find players
let's
right
say
now.
Portland flurries the fuck out, and you can give up a couple players besides Mitch and RJ and quickly for CJ McCollum and like 2 picks.
CJ
You know,
McCollum
like
would be good.
that.
I thought you were gonna say Lillard. I was like, he's definitely talking
Oh.
about McCollum because it makes sense, and I thought you were gonna say Lillard. And I was
No,
like,
Lillard is never going to get traded.
Yeah.
I would love to have CJ McCollum.
Yeah,
dude,
I think
CJ McCollum.
trade
I
with
fucking
RJ.
love CJ
CJ
McCollum.
is
I
a
don't know
stud.
if you can get him without trading RJ or quickly. The thing with quickly is this is the thing that's going to be tough for us. If they ever trade for a good guard and quickly plays well, the other team's going to want quickly.
I would probably give up quickly. Like, even if it's like a year from now and he's like balling out, I'd probably give him up for CJ McCollum. A
But
proven commodity, you got to give up a rising star for a proven commodity.
I would also, in the offseason, if like the Warriors flame out, I would give up the second Mavs pick and the 2 second-round picks for Klay Thompson if they did that.
I was just gonna mention Clay, but it would take a. I think it would take a big time fuck up because the Warriors know that they still have their big three and that those big three are still really good.
They would have to miss the
They would
playoffs
have to really flame
and
out.
like
They would have to miss the
Draymond Green
playoffs.
like punch Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Mike, you're
I could
frozen.
see all of these things happening.
Mike's frozen in the funniest way.
I'm gonna look at. Yeah, Mike is frozen in a very funny way.
Yeah, Mike, pop on out again. Pop on back in.
I can't wait to watch.
You know who else? This big contract, but Bradley Beal. How would you feel about Beal? That team is going nowhere. And we obviously don't want Westbrook. Mike, Bradley Beal.
I'm so glad we didn't trade
Love
for
Bradley
Westbrook.
Beal. I would love to have Bradley Beal.
I would love
I
to
think
have
Bradley
Fred
Beal
VanVleet
should
if
be
they
a
wanted to trade.
big time trade target for the Knicks if they can get him for not too much. You know, perhaps if Siakam really is fucking up, they can get him on the cheap. But I don't know.
If Siakam's really fucking up, I don't think I really want him.
I don't know. If you want him, see, that's the risk, though.
Yeah, so Pascal Siakam, rising star. Let's see how old Pascal is. I think he's probably.
I think he's like 25.
He was drafted older, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
cool
wanna
with
say he's
drafting
like
at this
25.
point. At this point, I'm cool with trading for older guys.
Pascal
We have enough
Siakam
younger
is
guys.
wait. Pascal Siakam is older than Julius Randle. Are you
Really?
kidding me? His birthday is one day for mine, April 2nd, 1994. He's already 26. He's gonna be 27 before Julius Randle is 27.
It's my sister's birthday.
So like,
August 2nd.
honestly, just keep Randle.
Yo, what about trading for Porzingis?
That would be hilarious. What? Do they trade for Luka Doncic?
You know, a guy like Porzingis is a guy that I've always wanted to have on the Knicks. He runs the floor well, and he's shooting big
The
man.
Knicks would not be
You
what
want
they
to
are
say-
right now. Dude, they would be good.
I mean, I would, if the Jazz would never do this because we had to give up RJ, I would give up like 7 picks for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I was gonna say Donovan Mitchell before.
They're
But
not
the asking
but
price would be way
one
too
that
high.
I think is plausible. I really like DeAndre Hunter, and they're gonna have to play John Collins. They keep him. They're gonna have to pay Trey and all these other guys they have.
I do think Collins is the odd man out.
If they
though.
don't make the
Hunter.
playoffs and like Collins, I mean, and the Knicks offered 2 picks, like
Okay, the Hawks are gonna make the playoffs. They lost to the Knicks last night, but they're gonna make the playoffs.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't think
could-
losing to the Knicks is like this big
Okay,
time.
I said it wrong in my head. It would have to be in the off season if they're trying to sign another wing. Then DeAndre Hunter's expendable. So they take on Hunter, they give them picks, they sign Win, and then they have more picks to make trades. I would give up a first and 2 seconds for DeAndre Hunter.
I like Hunter a lot. I like his game.
Yeah,
I know like guys in their second year that are good don't get traded often. Especially if it's not for like a star, you know.
Mhm.
But I think that's what the Knicks should try to do. Try to like coerce a team that's trying to really turn it up a notch to take on one of their young players so they can fill that with like a legitimate vet. You know, like Sadie in the picture. Where is
Hi,
Sadie?
baby. She was just on your bed. I don't know. Hi, baby.
What kind of vet are you looking for, though? Because there's plenty of guys who I could see leaving their teams, but I don't know if they want them.
I'm saying
Like-
the other team, like, so it would be like if the Hawks wanted to sign Victor Oladipo, then like DeAndre Hunter in essence could be expendable. So that would be like the Knicks' route to get one of these guys.
Yeah, almost like a secondary move
Right.
from another team's
Yeah.
first move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would really like
yeah.
to see a more established vet.
But the challenge with that is the Knicks have 4 picks in the draft, and in the NBA, the draft is before the postseason, the free agent season, unlike the NFL.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to make this trade before those picks are taken.
they really need to change that.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I don't know. Draft capital's kind of king, you know. Like teams like
Right.
Washington and who else is really rebuilding right now? Like I
Right,
could
but-
see the Spurs moving on draft capital, although
But
I don't even know how much.
The
I would even
other
want to
problem with the Knicks making a trade in season is in-season trades, you have to match salary, even though the Knicks have a lot of space.
Yeah.
So for them to take on a max level player, Randall has to go.
We're not going to
So you take
see,
on,
besides trading like an Austin Rivers or like a Burks, if they trade a guy like that, or like a Noel, we're not going to see a big trade happen from the Knicks before this year's trade deadline. It's
I don't think
it's just not
they
going to
don't
happen.
they don't have the contracts to do it like they did last year. Like it'd be one thing if like Beal like I want to be New York and they don't have a trade for him, and the Knicks send them 4 picks and the Bobby Portis Taj contracts, but they get the 4 picks. It's whatever. Like they can't do that this year because they don't
Yeah.
have a bad contract. But I think we've harped on this a lot because this is gonna be something we're gonna talk about a lot in the future, and I don't want to get sad because I like my Knicks right now. So do you guys want to get into previewing the Utah Jazz game tomorrow night?
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think the
really,
Knicks are gonna
really
get
quick
bopped.
about the Jazz right now.
Yeah.
They're losing 37-14. So
Knicks are. I think the Knicks are gonna get smacked by the
Wait,
Jazz.
who are they playing right now?
the Nets.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I want the net. I always root for the Nets to win.
we have them on a back-to-back tomorrow too. So
I know.
they might be. It depends. Like if they play hard the end of the game, or they just move on to the next game, because they might just like if they're losing by enough, they'll just throw out the backups for the whole fourth quarter and save their energy for tonight against the Knicks. So let's root for a close game
Yeah.
over in Brooklyn. Because we want those guys to be dog tired.
Well,
by
they're
the time
coming
they have to
back.
play
It's
us
now
tomorrow.
37-19. Donovan Mitchell's been a little off this year, hasn't he? All right.
Yeah,
A little
it's
bit. He'll be fine though. He's a stud.
it's
Oh,
early in the
Kyrie
season.
Irving already has 18 points. He's 7 of 7 from the field and 4 of 4 from 3.
Yo,
He's so good.
It's all right. We have quickly.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's okay
So-
to talk about it. It's whatever.
Yeah,
I don't feel as bad as a Knicks fan if Kyrie Irving plays good basketball.
No, me neither.
So how do you guys think the Knicks? I don't want to talk about the Nets that much. They don't interest me.
So you want to talk about the game?
Yeah.
Let me
How do you guys
preview
think
the
the
Jazz
Knicks match
lineup right
up?
now. So
Yeah.
the Jazz starting lineup tonight, and I think this has been their lineup most of the year, is Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, probably top 5 pretty much in the league, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Do you want to do the game, or we just go player by player? So,
Yeah, sure.
point guard, Mike Conley, or Alfred Payton.
Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, Emmanuel quickly wins that.
Okay.
Mike Conley is better.
Obviously, it's Mike
Shooting
Conley.
guard, Donovan Mitchell. We'll put him against RJ for this.
Donovan
Mitchell's
Mitchell.
better.
Bojan Bogdanovic or Reggie Bullock.
Bogdanovich.
Royce O'Neal or Julius Randle.
Julius Randle.
Randle.
Right.
Yeah. And then Rudy Gobert or Mitchell Robinson.
Rudy.
I don't know.
Rudy Gobert is 1 for 4 on a
Yeah, I
minus
don't know.
15 so far. I mean,
I might take Mitchell Robinson for this one.
I would take Mitchell Robinson, honestly. I don't give a shit
I'm
about
taking-
Rudy Gobert. He's
I'm
better.
taking
I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think that Royce O'Neal is going to be able to handle Julius Randle, though. I don't think that he's going to be doing all of those.
Apparently, no one can handle Julius.
Royce O'Neal's only like 6'5".
I'll take that back.
But
It's
yeah,
not-
I think the Knicks are gonna fall back down to earth and take an L here. It seems like a perfect bounce back.
I
game
don't
for the
think they're
Jazz.
winning this game by any means tomorrow. I would be shocked if they were even competing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the
they'll
bench-
play though. They'll play hard in the fourth
the
quarter.
bench,
I have no doubt about that.
the Australian version of Iggy Brastakis, Joe Ingles, Georgie Nang, Derek
Never
Favors,
compare him
and
to
Jordan
Iggy.
Clarkson.
Iggy's trash. Joe Ingles can play.
You know, if Burks is playing tomorrow, which I probably isn't, I could see like they struggle with the starters. Burks makes it closer. They struggle with the starters. Burks makes it closer. I also think Quickly could outplay Jordan Clarkson. I don't know. You know what?
I'm not going to say the Knicks are totally not going to win. The Knicks could definitely win.
Is it an ankle sprain for Burks?
He has a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm not going to not give them an outside chance of winning this game.
But he's been questionable every injury report and then ruled out at game time.
I know, which makes me
I don't think he's going to play.
No, I'll believe it when he's upgraded to probable.
Yeah. He's probably not playing. Their bench doesn't scare me. I mean, Clarkson can score, but like Favors is good. Ingles can do stuff.
I think we have to like really hope for a bad shooting night from the Jazz.
And the Knicks have to hit shots.
And they have to hit shots. It's got to be like the perfect storm, like it was against the Bucks, which is possible. I mean, we're getting them on the second night of a back-to-back, and they're coming back right now against the Nets, so it could be a close game towards the end. I mean, all basketball games are close in the fourth quarter. Just against good teams, like it's just how it works.
We want a triple overtime loss.
No, literally, like give me as much overtime as you can. I also kind of want to watch the end of that game later. Just because
they're playing, so we can send the report. But don't forget the Knicks associate head coach is Johnny Bryan, who was on the Jazz for about a decade, and this current Jazz team is pretty much the same Jazz team that they've had last year and the year before. So the Knicks should have, in theory, strong intel on the Jazz for this game. And the NBA, I know, doesn't mean as much as maybe football does, but like at least I know that like in some world, the guy guarding Donovan Mitchell is probably instructed by Johnny Bryan on things that are his weaknesses to some extent. So there is that.
I guess I don't think that matters.
I don't think it matters much, but it's something.
I
wouldn't say it's nothing.
I think Julius needs to continue playing well. Quickly needs to get a lot of minutes, and RJ needs to have a great game. And
I think this would be a really good game for like one or two of these fringe guy blocks. Would be really important. You
could just restart your whole sentence. No, you're good now.
Okay. I think this would be like a really good game. Oh, really? Okay. This would be like a really good game for like I said, Bullock and Knox to have a good game. So we'll see. The Gobert Mitch thing will be interesting. The best thing Mitch can do is to get Gobert into foul trouble.
Yeah. It's going to be the battle of who gets into foul trouble first.
Which the Knicks haven't done much of this year. They haven't really tried getting guys into foul trouble. But looking at the team now, I could see like Derek Favors having a good game because the Knicks don't really have a backup big right now, and Derek Favors is a great backup big. So
Derek Favors is a guy that like I wish the Knicks would fucking went after, not fucking.
Me too.
Nerlens Noel.
He got like a 3-year, $30 million contract.
I would have given him a 3 year for 30. Like I would have just handed him the money. I would have given him 3 for 36. I would have given him 3 for 40. Like that's a guy that you just sign because he's a good player. And I honestly like. Would he start over Mitch? And then you have Mitch coming off the
it's hard to
playing a lot of minutes off the bench.
It's hard to say because I don't know. Mitch's defense around the rim is like
so good, so valuable.
Invaluable. Like,
Derek Favors' PER is 24.13 in 16 minutes a game. His PER is 21st in the league, which means he's an incredibly effective player.
I know. I looked up the PERs today. You know what Kevin Knox's is? Guess.
10.
No. Lower.
1.
No, it's 7.54 or something. 7.44.
He's only 29.
Who Favors? Yeah, he's not like an ancient NBA veteran. He's the same age as Bullock and Burks.
Yeah. That would have been a great signing.
Great signing. And
he probably wanted to go back to the Jazz though.
Yeah, he seems comfortable there, and they're a good team. It's hard to get guys like Rivers who, for some reason, want to go from playoff team to the Knicks.
But you play like this, and then you get a guy like that.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. But it's too late for the Favors.
The reason that Rivers makes sense is because if he went to like, I'm not going to say Philly because his dad's the coach. If he went to like Miami, they have a dearth of good wings. Like he wouldn't play that much, you know. Like he gets to play now. Yeah.
Girth is a good word.
Second of all, I very much agree with you.
Yeah.
I-
It makes sense why he went to New York.
Flynn wrote a great article today on Posting and Toasting about Austin Rivers and like just how great he's been for this team this season, and like just what he's been saying to the media and how he's been playing on the court, and how like, you know, everybody basically like hated him because he was the daddy's little boy of the NBA for so long, and he went to Duke and yada yada yada, and now he's like blossoming into this like veteran presence on a basketball team where he literally went to a shit team from a great team just to be part of like a build, and you don't really get that too much in the NBA these days. It was a really good article. I definitely recommend. Posting and Toasting is great. I love Posting and Toasting. So.
I haven't
Everybody
gone
check
on
it
there
out.
much since the guy started the Strickland. I've like barely went to Posting and Toasting.
Yeah, I checked it out today just to see what was on there with it. I like Alex Wolf a lot too. I've had a couple.
He's on the
engagements with
Strickland
him.
now.
Yeah,
He's
I know.
yeah.
I've had a couple. Well, he still writes for Posting and Toasting too.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
he
know that.
had an article out about the Indiana game. I want to say I was.
Oh, okay.
And I've had a couple engagements with him on Twitter where we
I
shot
don't like
DMs
Sean
back and
St.
forth.
Jock or at all. Like I don't know why. I just don't like that guy.
I have not read an article by him.
He does like so when Schwinn and Drew were on Posting and Toasting, they did like the Knicks pod, and then Jock had his own pod on Posting and Toasting, and it was like so much worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, Schwinn is great though. Love Schwinn.
What was the name of the article? When did Austin Rivers become so damn inspiring?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a great article. Anybody watching this, go read that. Check it out. Love Flynn. He's great. Posting and Toasting is great. The Strickland is great. All these other Knicks-based writers and bloggers and podcasters. This new Knicks universe of like fans talking about our team, even like, you know, before this season when they were like extra shitty. It's just so cool. This community is so dope. So definitely
big shout out to Knicks Fan TV and the boys CP and Jay Ellis. Those guys have been doing this for like forever, and they do every game. Like they don't miss a pod after a game, a post game show. Like some of these, not to say names, podcast guys, they have like a podcast every like 12 days. Like Knicks Fan TV is on it every day. Like those guys have been through it all. Like shout out to those guys.
Yo, big shout out to Michael Rappaport for going and fucking himself. Anybody that bullies people on Twitter for pure enjoyment, and if you're a sexist piece of shit like you are and you made Caitlin Phoebe literally stop tweeting about the Knicks, you can go fuck yourself. I live in Yorkton Heights, New York. If you want to pull up, tag him in this on Twitter after this. If you want to pull up anytime, I will dust knuckles anytime you want to, you saggy old man. I'll beat the ever-living shit out of you. Fuck you, Michael Rappaport. I really hate Michael Rappaport.
I don't like him.
Fuck Alex B and Nick Central too.
I don't want to fight those guys. I want to fight Michael Rappaport on pay-per-view.
I would pay to see that. You would get the payment for my view.
And MSG would pay the rights for us. So we could just watch it on our app.
Yeah, MSG go.
No. Dr. Dre suffers brain aneurysm and is in ICU.
Oh fuck! Really?
Oh God.
Oh no! I hope he's gonna be okay.
Me too.
Jesus Christ.
Dre.
Yo, this season's for Doom, by the way.
This season is for Doom.
Motherfucking Doom forever.
All caps.
Matt Vellani lives on. All right.
So basically to wrap up what we were talking about, the Jazz, the Knicks need to hit their shots, the Jazz need to miss their shots, and they need to get Gobert into foul trouble early, because
and not let like Donovan Mitchell score 50 points would help too.
I mean, they let Trae Young score how many points last night?
30? Yeah, 31. He usually gets the 40s against the Knicks.
I mean, you know, you could let a guy score 30 some odd points against.
Oh, wait, that's the conversation.
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon.
Nobody like who likes watching Trae Young. I'm not taking away from him because he's a short guy that can shoot, and I'm jealous because I am. But like, did you watch that game and were like, I enjoy watching it play?
I have a different take on this because, yeah, of course it sucks to watch Trae Young play in the same way that it sucks to watch Harden play. But I'm not going to blame a dude for taking advantage of a fault in the system to get ahead in a competitive sport.
No.
This is a problem with the league. I'm not going to shit on Trae Young for doing it when it's the league's fault.
Well, the thing is, players are supposed to be fined or suspended if they flop, and he is clearly flopping all the time.
The thing is, though, is the way Harden does it and the way Trae Young do it are two different things. They're both flopping, but Trae Young is he's throwing elbows and like jabbing.
He's gonna hurt somebody
one day, and
thankfully his arms are like the size of a pencil, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah, but you don't have to be too big to knock somebody's tooth loose. Like
That's true.
there's gonna be a fight one day, and he's a rat. He's a dirty rat, dude. He pushes people and trips people, and like he reminds me. And I was saying this to Trav last night, and I know this is like a more basketball based podcast, but like he really reminds me of like a young Sidney Crosby. And if we have any hockey fans that listen to this podcast as well, like you would understand what I'm talking about, where like he's like flashy and like a really good athlete, great at what they do, great at their respective sports, but like he's dirty, and like you kind of like wonder like, why are you doing this? You're too good to be doing this. It's simply because you're a fucking rat. Like there's no reason other than you're trying to instigate or hurt somebody.
I think that
and tripping guys and pushing. There's no other explanation for that.
I think a lot of it's frustration, and I don't mean to say that you should let your frustration boil over into that, but a lot of what we saw last night was him being frustrated, which is, I mean, I'm not a Hawks fan, so I don't care that they're losing games because Trae is doing that kind of shit, but they did. But I don't know. I think we shouldn't focus on it being a Trae problem because it's a league-wide problem, and Harden does it. Quickly does it a little bit. Like this, it's just this mentality of
he doesn't do it the same way though.
He doesn't do it the same way. I'm not saying he does.
We've only seen him do it for like a game, like now.
Yeah. But like the jumping into guys, jumping sideways and backwards to like make contact happen, that should be an offensive foul. Like the league needs to crack down on that.
I don't understand this. The dude's 6 foot, 120 pounds. Why doesn't Tibbs just send like Bullock to knock him on his ass? Like, why don't teams do this? It's like, why is that unsportsmanlike? But like throwing your elbow with your left arm driving to the hoop isn't. Like, I don't get it. Like, there's nothing in the rules so you can't foul hard as long as you don't land on their feet. Like when he's going to the basket, body him up, throw him to the floor. Like, I don't get it.
He's gonna get it one day from like a guy like a Draymond
in
Green.
The playoffs.
Like,
he's gonna get
if he does it to a guy like a Serge Ibaka, a Boogie Cousins, a guy that's just too old for that shit, and they catch an elbow, they're gonna dump his ass on the floor.
Yeah. And that one of those.
I mean, who was it last season? He tried to fucking like nutmeg somebody running up the floor on a fast break.
Was it Ariza? It was Ariza, I think.
It might have been Ariza.
Yeah,
I'm not
Ariza
sure.
was like, don't you fucking do that again.
And he literally threw him.
Yeah.
Threw him out of the way, and he was like, you don't do that shit again. And Trae Young like got up, and he was like a little like shaken up, but like they had like a back and forth after, and it ended up being fine. But like, do that more to him. You can't go out there and throw your body around like that and potentially hurt somebody, potentially end somebody's career, and like it be okay.
He also like is useless on defense.
Yeah, he is
like
useless.
Like
so was James Harden for a very long time.
James Harden, when he tries, is fine.
Well, that's because James Harden has the body for it.
Yeah, Trae Young will grow into his frame a little bit more over the years. Like, and also like Steph Curry's useless on defense too.
He's okay. He's not. He's
more now.
He can pick a pocket.
You remember how bad he was for a long time on? He was like a legitimate liability.
I don't think he was ever worse than Trae Young is.
No, but he was bad. He was really
Trae Young
bad.
is nothing. Trae Young is literally 4 versus 5 on defense.
Yeah. Trae Young will get better at defense if he actually like tries to. He might not ever try to though.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right.
For the Knicks' sake.
We'll see. All right, guys. We've been at this for a while. We're at right now 1 hour and 18 minutes, which is actually kind of short for us. I was thinking, if you guys don't have any more points, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I'm cool with wrapping this one up. Game tomorrow. I'm psyched to see Knicks compete hard. Maybe hopefully get a really, really lucky win against the Jazz and get that winning streak. It's not a winning streak until 3 games, but
most importantly, above all, play hard. Oh,
Wait.
I have one more thing. And this,
Yeah, send it real
okay,
quick.
so the Knicks were pretty much closing out the game, and they just had to get the ball across court. And then they had the Julius Randle got pickpocketed, and then Reggie Bullock got that loose ball and threw it off the backboard.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could have heard and been there when Tibbs just chewed out the whole team after that win. Like, we're all fans pumped after win. Tibbs probably was spitting on the guys in the locker room for even attempting to blow a game like that. Which
This
makes
isn't
me
the first time that we saw them do something like that.
I know, it's funny. Every game they can't get the ball across court.
What the hell is that?
It's because
I don't know. It seems like they still have some kind of brain farts. Like they're just so not used to winning, they don't know how to do it.
But somebody has to attack the ball.
Payton's not a real point guard in the fourth quarter. And both of those mishaps happened, if you remember, because Bullock was subbed in for Quickly. So you didn't have Quickly to get the ball to.
Right. For the D, they subbed out Quickly.
And then they didn't call timeout, so they didn't have a point guard on the floor.
How is Tom Thibodeau such a hard-ass coach and such like a staunch like defense-first coach, but they're so bad at inbounding still?
I'm sure he's going to work. I'm sure if you asked him, he would put full blame on himself for that too. He probably would say, we should have called timeout, get the ball to, give more room to get it across court. But they will learn how to win better, hopefully, if they win.
They'll get used to it, yeah.
They have to learn how to win. Yeah. They do have to learn how to win. That's
they got to learn how to win. With that,
you got to have Quickly still out there, I think. I don't agree with the call to sub out first. Yeah.
I think that was a spur of the moment thought. And I'm sure if you asked Tibbs after the game, he'd probably say, we're going to have our point guard shooter on the court next time.
Well, he probably also thought that Bullock was like a competent enough dribbler to be able to bring the ball up the floor. But
and we were wrong. I guess we were wrong. So with that, guys, I don't think I have any more thoughts. The Knicks are going to play the Utah Jazz tomorrow night at our beloved Madison Square Garden at 7:30 p.m., not 7 o'clock. So you got a little extra time to get to the game. Knicks are 4-3 in the season, looking to push to 5-3. They just played 4 games on the road, so they went 3-1 on the road. Now they got a few games at home, so this is the beginning of a nice little home stretch here. So if you guys don't have any more thoughts, I want to thank you guys again for coming on. This was an awesome pod. It is just great to be a Knicks fan. You guys really helped me, get through each day. Just knowing I have other people out there that care about this team like I do. So thanks, Mike.
Thanks. This one felt good. It felt loose. Felt fun.
Yeah, this one was good.
Thank you, Pete.
Of course, anytime.
And thank you all again for tuning in. And as always, go Knicks.
Thanks, guys. Love you.